Dazed and confused for so long it's not true. Wanted a streamer, never. Oh, hey, welcome to Eve News, Weather, and Sports. It's August 10th, 2026. I'm Mike Azariah. Let's do a bit of news, and then I'll let you go on your way. Couple things to talk about. First one is a bit of controversy that's been spinning around for a couple of days now about a streamer named Loru and whether or not he did RMT, which is real money trading, and one of the few things that is bannable offense in EVE Online. So far, it looks like Fenris is not taking action against him, whether they've examined it or talked to him or not, but he says everything's Gucci, so there are people mad about it, but they didn't like him to begin with. There are people who are happy about it, but they're streamers who follow him. So I don't really have an opinion. I've never met the man, don't know him, and I don't spend much time on his thing. But it did leave me to think about money in the game. Now, EVE Online has had a lot of currencies. The most famous one is the Plex. A friend printed that out for me. Two things I'm going to show and tell from my friend. He dropped in today. But he's got one of his new 3D printers, so he made that. Before that, he did CNC, so he actually did metal work for me as well, and I'll get to that at the end. But in the game, there's Plex, there's ISK, there is, what is the other ones? Evermarks, which I have no idea how I spend them. The only place I spend them is doing my dailies. And there's loyalty points in various stores. I have Concord loyalty points. I have loyalty points for about 2 or 3 dozen different corporations. All of these have exchange values if they can be exchanged. All of these have value to various players, and whether they use them or not becomes another thing. But it does become interesting when a game has too many currencies, because then it becomes confusing and you have to figure out which one would you call the prime currency or the real currency of the game. I mentioned Plex first and ISK second because Plex is a currency that you can use in the New Eden store and is a currency that you can use to buy an Omega subscription to the game. So, as far as I'm concerned, it is the main currency of the game, and the others are just offshoots of it. You may have a different opinion. You're welcome to it, however wrong it may be. So, from talking about money, of course, the obvious segue would be saying that the mayor came out this past week, the monthly economic report. And there are a few things that I watch when I'm looking at the monthly economic report because I'm curious about how the game is doing. And all the way back to when I was on CSM 8, Minna was teasing CCP the economist, and saying, "Come on, just admit velocity is what you're watching the most." ISK velocity is a really good measure of how well the economy is doing. There's a few other things that different people read, and the people who own SOV worry about who's doing the most mining, where's all the destruction happening, that sort of thing. I don't watch that as much as velocity is how fast does money trade hands. Like if I spend 10 ISK today, does the person who receive it then immediately spend it someplace else? And the person who got that, if the ISK is doing a lot of hopping and traveling around, that's a sign of an active economy. If there are players who become ISK sinks where they sell things, they keep all the money, they don't spend any money, that slows the economy down and slows the velocity of ISK down. The other thing I always look at is faucets and sinks and beginning of month, end of month total for the value of all the assets in game, which is in the thousands of trillions, I believe. And I look to see how the balance is going. Do we have more money coming into the game than we have going out? If it's going out, where is it going out? Like ships blowing up is only one way for things to go away. A couple of episodes ago, I talked to you about the bans, and connected in that, if you go back and read the bans article again, they have how much stuff was impounded and removed from the game because those players were banned. I had a silly idea a long time ago. I wrote about it in my blog. Not going to link it. Maybe I will. But it was talking about the idea of having storage locker sales. wars, when they're impounded, players have various points where they've stored stuff that now is no longer theirs because they're banned. They're no longer players. Could you imagine if a sale came up and said, Player X was banned, we're not even going to tell you his name, but he had stuff in this hangar in 1DQ. What am I bid for it? 24 hours, high bid walks away with it. Now, it might be a shuttle, or it might be where he kept a whole bunch of ships that he was saving up for. It could be anything. And the first couple of bidding wars for that would be fun to watch. Storage locker wars would be cool for the game, in my opinion. The other thing that came up, and there'll be a link down below for the mayor. There'll be one for Loru. There'll be one for the next thing, which is some Fenris people, including Hilmar and a few other devs I recognize, went and had a big get together with Google and DeepMind. They are still working hard to look at how they can integrate large scale AI into our game. Now, I know some of you immediately are like, and some of you are going, AI might be nice. At least there'd be some intelligence coming into the game. How you react is up to you. I'm not going to tell you how to react. I think AI in certain ways would be cool. I think AI in other ways would be scary as all hell, which is what I said. This is both cool and scary. They mentioned one thing, and I can't remember for sure if I saw it in the article, but I think they wanted the AI to focus on the market. And that would be really scary because that links it back to the mayor. But if they let the AI start being able to play with the dials and have enough ISK to play with, something that can be there 24/7 and instant would be, in my opinion, a bot. If it starts playing the market, I have an objection to it, even if it is a CCP thing. I would like to have it to be slowed down to human reflexes so it can be played against and not have this huge speed power of Google behind it advantage to it. My thoughts. Other than that, let's take a look at the movement in alliances. Frat went up 341, and an alliance called First Covenant lost 211 players, leaving them with none. So First Covenant is gone. Corp-wise, Karma Fleet lost 198. They're down to 12 people who haven't logged on long enough to quit. In Violence, Nullsec, it was, whoops, nice. Took my glasses off, and now I'm trying to read my own fine print. In Nullsec, it was Uniform Alpha Lima X-Ray TAC 3 with 676 ships and 405 pods popped. In Lowsec, it was Tama, and I found this number interesting. It was 341 ships popped, 345 pods. In other words, some people were just passing through. They didn't even lose their ship in Tama. They lost their pod there. HiSec was Jita with 1,151 over 285. And in NPC space, it was Mike Victor Uniform Oscar TAC Foxtrot with 42,655 NPC ships popped in a 24-hour period. That's the main news I had for you. I hope that you are having a lovely summer. You can see I'm out. It's almost 8 o'clock here. The sun is over the yardarm. Oh, right, the medal that a friend made for me. He made me an F-bomb. It is also a bottle opener, and the spike at the end is if you want to be shotgunning your beers. Shotgunning glass beers just does not work for me, so I will drink it the old-fashioned way. Toasting your health, hoping you have a lovely weekend, and I will catch you in about a week. Yeah, I have a drinking problem. You have yourselves a good one. I'll catch you later. Ciao, Bella.